here. Want to thank all the panelists that have joined us today. This is the Cottonwood Strategic Planning Retreat. We do this retreat once a year, and every other year when we have an election and new council members seated, we do a larger planning retreat where we invite stakeholders in, such as yourself, to let us know how things are going on your end, what some of the challenges are that you are facing, and how you feel like the city can help. So you are all invited under the Tourism and Culture panel. We have representatives here from the Verde Valley Wine Consortium, Verde Canyon Railroad, Regional Marketing, Sedona Chamber of Commerce, and Tourism Bureau. So we're going to go ahead and start things off with Paula Woolsey from the Verde Valley Wine Consortium. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here, Paula.
Thanks for having me, Mayor, and hello, everybody. Even though I can't see you, I'm assured you can hear me. I'm representing the Verde Valley Wine Consortium today, and for those of you that are not familiar with the Verde Valley Wine Consortium, we are a trade organization representing the wine industry. We started in 2008, and I've been the vice president since 2009. The Verde Valley Wine Consortium represents the Verde Valley, all the wineries, and all the industry players that want to represent and share in the wine industry. We've got pretty much all the wineries as members. The consortium has partnered with the city since 2008, focus on building the wine industry in a cooperative manner where everybody in the valley can participate and also be able to garner the benefits of such a remarkable, locally grown, produced, and sold product as wine. When we first started this organization back in 2009, we didn't realize at that point, like we do now, 12 years later, that this was going to be probably one of the biggest economic drivers in the area. We all knew that wine was important, that this area was something that could grow and produce really good wine. We were the ones that in the very beginning, the consortium worked with Yavapai College to create a viticulture program. We had some other players involved. Obviously, the city was one of them, representing how we could create a workforce development program there that would then lend to the wineries, the educated winery workers that we needed to move forward. That is something that we're very proud of. I currently am teaching, have been at the college since 2009 in the viticulture program, and let me tell you, the COVID challenges have been there for sure, but going online has created an outreach of students that I have students that are in my classes right now that are from all over Arizona, places like Utah and Nevada, places where people wouldn't be able to normally have come and taken classes are now taking classes because we are online. So good things, bad things, online teaching is difficult. The Verde Valley Wine Consortium originally worked with the Chamber of Commerce to create the Verde Valley Wine Trail. I think you're all pretty familiar with the trail. And then the relaunch of it, which happened a couple of years ago in conjunction with the Chamber, and we've got that trail really, really well out there. It is one of the most written about and Googled items that I can find out here for the Verde Valley and Cottonwood. The Verde Valley Wine Consortium and the Greater Cottonwood have partnered to do things like Walking on Main, which has been one of our greatest events. We've done that now for 11 years. We have been working on creating a fun wine event at the 4th of July. We've done it for a couple of years. We were hoping to do it again this year, but things didn't go that way. And more currently, I don't know if you know what an AVA is. An AVA is an American Viticultural Area. It's a federal designation that the TTB, the Alcohol Trade and Tax Bureau, dons on an organization who is committed to putting through the application process. It's taken us, we submitted our application 3.5 years ago, and we are waiting for final. We've been approved. We are actually on the map as pending. And when the AVA is official, this is going to bring additional layer of much needed recognition to the Verde Valley, because now on a bottle of wine that you make here, you can only put, the closest thing you can put on there is Yavapai County. So now we'll be able to put Verde Valley. So say Page Springs Winery, for instance, they can now be able to put Page Springs Estate Winery, Verde Valley, Arizona, which is now going to put us in the league of marketing that things, places like Napa and Sonoma, all of these places around the country that have AVAs. It's a little bit of a geeky term, but people who know what they are will come and search them out. We'll now be able to have street signs and highway signs that will lend people directions directly to the Verde Valley. You're now entering Cottonwood, the heart of Arizona wine country, is a sign that we'll be able to put on the highway. And I think that's going to be really, really exciting. The consortium has been a major player in bringing together and economically creating an environment for Old Town to flourish. And what I want to today give is I guess the biggest thing that I want you to start to look at and realize is that the Verde Valley Cottonwood has a number of natural resources. You have a whole bunch of people that are talking about the river and the trails and the this and the that are here, that were here when we all got here. Think about grapes as a natural resource, not per se, but something that man has been able to create. Think of it along the terms of maybe the cement plant. We have this product that we grow here that gives jobs to people, that creates, it's a low water usage crop, and we take those grapes and we turn it into wine, and then we sell that wine and we get the word out about how wonderful Cottonwood and the Verde Valley are. I think Cottonwood is needing to really absorb what it means and really be proud that we've rebranded the city years ago now as the heart of Arizona wine country. So I think taking it to heart, this is one of the few products that Verde Valley and Cottonwood have to offer that come from here, that really, really, really are, we can be proud of. And people don't generally come to a place like Cottonwood to watch grapes grow, but they definitely come here to taste the wine and to partake in that. And I think we need to come together and really create maybe an event around the AVA coming out, which is sort of my hope. We'll be able to get the word even further out there, which again, just can't, it's not going to hurt economically at all. You've never seen a wine region pop up anywhere where it's affected like real estate values in a negative way. It's always added an additional cultural value. And I think we've proven our point over the last 12 years. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have about how we can go forward doing this together. And if there's things that you don't understand or want to understand more about the wine industry per se in the Verde Valley, ask away.
Thank you, Paula. I appreciate that. We're going to hear from all of our panelists, and then we're going to open it up after that for questions from council. And
Great.
Really appreciate you being here. And I know when Ron came on board, he had you assist with some wine education with city staff, and I think that was really helpful. And I appreciate you being a part of that.
No problem. Anytime.
All right. Well, let's turn our attention now to, we have, I believe, Teresa Propek here from the Verde Canyon Railroad. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. For me, for 20 years, I've been working side by side with Cottonwood on tourism and everyone in the Verde Valley. And we wouldn't have succeeded if we hadn't had this opportunity to be part of the overall community. It was cool that Paula was talking about, longevity and things like the cement plant, because I don't know how many people realize that we bring in all the coal and the empty cars for the cement plant. We take the cement out for them. So we have this awesome relationship with that business, and they are growing amazingly, which benefits our whole community as well. And she was talking about something that grows here. Well, we were planted here in 1912, so we're pretty excited about that fact, and that we've been able to keep it, not let it get torn up, not let that canyon change, and building the relationships that we have had with the community is wonderful. We love serving the Arizona wines on board the train, especially the Verde Valley wines, of course. Love working with everyone in Cottonwood because we've been adopted by Cottonwood. I know we're not in Cottonwood, but we certainly feel that way everywhere that we go. Cottonwood is very important to us. And when we were going to all be together physically, I had put together some of the pamphlets that all of us had created these past years that talk about location and that we are the heart of Arizona and that we are so easy for everyone to come to for every reason. I love telling people that the Verde Valley has everything that they can want in a visit, wherever they're from. We have it all. And it's very wonderful that Cottonwood is the hub of that. I wanted to share with you some numbers because we have all been concerned about COVID and what's been happening. But where our relationship with Cottonwood, out of the hotels that sell train tickets and in turn, of course, have people staying at the hotels, we're only down overall this year against 2019 by 199 train seats that came from the hotels in just Cottonwood. I'm blown away by that. I really thought it would be far more than that, but it's only short 199, and we're not done with the year. So maybe we'll make up a few more of those before the 31st is done. But that shows you how we're all working together to keep each other functioning. And I'm pretty proud of that. So the only other point I wanted to make was, if everyone's been very observant about what's been happening in Phoenix and Scottsdale and the greater metropolitan areas as far as no groups, no convention business, that hasn't affected us. We've come to see that we are reliant on each other and on the Verde Valley and not on the people that are missing down in the valley right now. So I think that's something we should all be very proud of. So
very good.
I didn't talk a lot about the train, but I just want to talk about our relationship and how it works.
Thank you. No, and we really appreciate that relationship here in Cottonwood. I know you've been a participant on our weekly calls as well since COVID started, and your participation is really appreciated. So thank you.
Thanks.
All right, let's move on then next to Heather Herman. You're kind of a big champion here for regional marketing, and appreciate you being on the call today from Front Burner Media. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you, Mayor. And thank you all to the council and for inviting us and having us today. I wanted to, I had sent some information over to Sandra to share with all of you, and I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to take a look at it, but I wanted to go through it if at all possible. And it looks like I'm being made the presenter, so I can share with you now if you'd like.
Yes.
All right. So I just wanted to kind of recap what's been happening with destination marketing in terms of Cottonwood. And first, I wanted to congratulate you all for making the decision, which I know was a difficult one. It wasn't easy to, in this time with COVID, to make that transition and shift your marketing dollars from the Chamber of Commerce to the city. But I see it as a really great opportunity, and one that your Tourism and Economic Development Department has really embraced. And I think this little summary will show you that you're really on the road to success and you've accomplished a lot. We've accomplished a lot in just the few months that we've been engaged in this. So when we look through it right now, obviously media is one of those opportunities that we like to take advantage of because it's the most economical thing to take advantage of. And in the beginning, when we first started with COVID, media really kind of shut down. We weren't getting a lot of outreach and a lot of people that were contacting us. But I can tell you that the coverage has changed. We've got a lot of journalists and travel writers and bloggers and social influencers that are reaching out because they want to focus on dream destinations and things that you can think of, even if you can't travel right now, but start planning your trips and getting excited about travel once again. And we've taken advantage of those opportunities, and I've highlighted a couple of those places where we've received coverage. And one really neat thing that we have coming up that Tricia and I have worked on is with Arizona Drive Guide, and we reached out with them because we hadn't really been doing a lot in terms of with Cottonwood, with that publication. And because her and I both have a longstanding relationship with them, we asked for the cover and they gave it to us. And we were able to also pitch some story ideas to them. And we're excited for when that piece comes out. I'm sure you'll all be given a copy of that directly from Tricia. But some upcoming pieces as well that we have to highlight are San Diego Magazine. We're currently working with the journalist on a piece about Cottonwood. We've got Visit USA Parks, Grand Canyon Journal. We've highlighted Travel Awaits at the top of this page, and just a few more in that list as well. Then the website. I think this one is probably something that Tricia and I get very excited about, because when we look at the current website that we have for Visit Cottonwood, there are actually only 4 places to shop that are on that website right now. And we all know Cottonwood has a lot more places to shop than that. It's got some really outdated content. It doesn't have signature events. Photo galleries really focus on other destinations. And now, granted, we are part of the Verde Valley Tourism Council. We want to highlight that, but we want to showcase it on a bigger scale and have the logo and have the Nat Geo official recognition and more information with our partners, including Teresa and other locations around that Sedona Verde Valley Tourism Council. And in the new website that we're actually working on right now, we've got more businesses highlighted. We've got signature events. We've got a whole uniquely Cottonwood section, which we're excited about because we are working with Roger Naylor specifically. I know you all know who he is. He writes for the Arizona Republic. He lives in Cottonwood. He actually just wrote us a love letter to Cottonwood this week that we're going to be able to focus and highlight on the website. So there's some really exciting things coming on that new Visit Cottonwood website that we can't wait to show you. And I know Tricia can't wait to show you as well. And we like to say that a destination website, when it's done right, it's like an invitation for a visitor to RSVP and check the box that they're coming and they're going to bring a +1. So that's the goal for our website, to really make it pop. And we shared some kind of basic Visit Cottonwood data. Right now, people are getting lost from the current page and they're dropping like you wouldn't believe. So just from October to date, we've had under 11,000 visits. You can see that everyone is on the homepage and then they just kind of disappear after that. So just the way that things are listed, we're going to really focus on how you can find a business, making it easier, showcasing what we've got, and breaking it down into different categories. And we took a couple of screenshots here and showed we'll have different categories like Old Town, outdoors, the wine trail, shopping, dining, lodging, events, that uniquely Cottonwood section. But then we'll also have a piece that we haven't had before, which is for the media, for the travel trade industry, for itinerary suggestions for the area, including that Sedona Verde Valley piece. So we're really putting it all out there with that website, and it's going to be simple, heavy on graphics, really beautiful, and easy to look at. And finally, our advertising. We just wanted to highlight a few of the places that we're in right now. The WestJet Travel newsletter dropped recently to over 150,000 opted-in subscribers, and we were a part of that. And AAA SoCal January, and the Southern Californians are still traveling because they're stuck at home. And Local IQ, we're doing some USA Today retargeting. So you may be familiar with retargeting when you are on, say, Facebook and you type in something that you're interested in, whether it be a new electronic device or maybe you're thinking about travel someplace else. Well, we take those words and then they follow you across those markets. So if you're on Amazon, you'll see the ads pop up that are similar. Then you're in Google and you'll see ads that are popping up that are similar. And so we're kind of following around a little bit with that suggestion for Cottonwood and not letting people let go of that idea. And then finally, just our partnership with the Arizona Office of Tourism. We're very grateful for that. And if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be able to participate in that Arizona Office of Tourism co-op where we invest $50,000 and then they match it dollar for dollar. And what we're seeing with the travel trends and everything we're reading, with the vaccine in sight, the election is over, people start to dream again, start thinking about travel. And we believe that right now, the tourism department and the city of Cottonwood are poised just in the perfect position to really keep going with full steam ahead, and really wonderful and exciting things are coming up in the years to follow for the city of Cottonwood and your tourism and economic development department. And we continue to use that heart of Arizona wine country along with you are welcome here to include a broader audience. So thank you for letting me highlight some of those things today, and I'll look forward to your questions.
That's great, Heather. Thank you very much. It's very affirming for council. It was a leap of faith, I think. We took a chance to redirect some of our dollars and take on the DMO status and all that, but I can see that there's a lot of momentum around this, and I think it was a wise decision. So thank you for being here. And I'm excited now to introduce Michelle Conway. So you're been with the Sedona Chamber for an awful lot of years, and we'd have to try really hard to fail over here in Cottonwood because of all the great work that you do in Sedona to help us out over here. And the Safe, Clean, Ready campaign was born from your office. We appreciate that. You guys have been just critical in our economic development too. So thanks for joining the call this afternoon, and the floor is yours. We can't hear you, unfortunately, Michelle. We may be having difficulties on our end, but we're not able to hear you right now. Are you unmuted yourself? Heather, can you say something so we know that?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're here? Okay, well, we can hear Heather. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, Michelle. I'm sorry. Okay.
That you saw in that last presentation. We have to give a lot of credits to our partners. The Friends provided some of those pictures, and some of the other community partners. So the beautiful pictures that we've been able to obtain to help our marketing plan.
Heather, you dance. Paula, you sing.
I'm sorry, say that again, Teresa?
I told Heather to dance and Paula to sing. We could at least do a little entertaining.
There we go. Yeah, she's logging back in now, so hopefully we can hear her.
Oh.
Michelle, I'm sorry, we still can't hear you.
Is your volume turned up on your computer?
I'll tell you what, we're going to give you some time to try to fix it, and we'll just open it up now for questions to the other panelists, and then as soon as you get it figured out, just shout really loud and we'll hear you. Yeah, we still can't hear you. Yep. All right. Any questions from council for the panelists that have presented? Yes.
This is Councilmember Weldon, and I heard on the news the other night, national news, that after COVID is within range or semi-clear, whatever that means, that tourism is expected to spike big time. Is there any way or anything you have done to prepare for that?
You mean that tourism activity will spike or COVID will spike in?
No, tourism activity will spike and we're going to get hit hard, which is fine.
Bring it.
Yeah.
This is Heather, and Councilwoman Wilden, that's actually a really good point and a good question. And I think one of the things as a destination that Cottonwood is doing right now is actually taking advantage of that and making sure that we're out there. We're doing more digital advertising than we've done in the past. And I think that that's going to put us in a good position so that maybe if there are people that didn't know about Cottonwood as a destination, or it gives them more reason to stay longer, not just with the typical things that they thought they knew about Cottonwood. So yes, I think we're poised and ready. And just like Teresa, bring it, we're ready.
Great. I had a question for Paula Woolsey. How far out are we on the AVA designation? And then what sort of event or other opportunities do you have in mind that we should have on our minds?
We don't know. That's the truth to it. It's getting close. We can tell you that the process has been almost 4 years now. We've gone through all the public hearings. We've gone through, checking our application's been absolutely perfected. It's into the National Registry. We are located on, if you go to the TTB website, you'll see that there's a map, and on the map, you'll see a little orange dot, which means that we are proposed and ready to launch. We have worked, we received a grant recently from the city of Cottonwood, and it has allowed us to start the marketing. We are developing, the logo has been created for the AVA. We are working on a website specifically for the AVA that will be a tab that we hope to be able to put on anybody who wants to add to their computers for whatever reason. If it's a website for a winery, or for the city, or for the chamber, or for Visit Cottonwood, it'll link directly to the AVA website. That website is going to be an informational more than anything else. It's going to explain why Cottonwood and the Verde Valley are ideal for growing grapes here. If we could have a crystal ball, and we don't have any more crazy government shutdowns or things that could happen, because this is a federal, there may be another slowdown or a hiccup when we change administrations. Who knows? I can't answer it exactly, but we know that we are to the point where they are in the COLA process, which is the process where you need to apply for your labeling. There's drop-down boxes to pick your AVA, and you can actually now go to the COLA website and click on the AVAs, and the Verde Valley AVA comes up, but then you try to use it and it says it's not ready to be used quite yet type of messaging comes up. So they're building the back of the house, the infrastructure that needs to be in place before they actually officially say, okay, you can start using it. If I had to guess, we're hoping early in the beginning of the year is when we're going to see it. We'll have all the back of the house built here. As far as marketing the AVA, we don't want to push that button until it is official, but when they say it's official, we'll have all the resources in place. We've got a PR company already signed up, Donning PR, to do a mass international national marketing on the AVA. We will be making sure that all the wine magazines and digital places and wine writers and all the people that understand or need to know about it will know about it the day it happens. The event is, some of you know that I've been doing the Sedona Wine Fest for the last 12 years. When I talk about an event, an Off the Vine in Oro Valley, these are big wine events that draw thousands of people. Cottonwood doesn't yet have its own wine event. I mean, we bring wine to events, but we don't have this is the heart of the Verde Valley Wine Country Cottonwood wine event. So I foresee a big event post-COVID that will in Cottonwood that will be a big draw. So we've been thinking along these terms. Jack and I and the people that are working on events in Cottonwood all know that this is like my pet project, and that eventually we'll get to the point where it's safe to do so, and we'll be able to really hang our hat on, this is the AVA, this is where we're from, this is the heart of it. And for those of you that have been paying attention to our trailer, it is actually being festooned with logos as we speak, and we'll hopefully be able to share it with council before the end of this year. Done.
That'd be great. Thank you. Well, keep us posted on whatever kind of ideas you have for this event, because I'd sure like to hear, and I would really like to see a signature wine event that is in Cottonwood.
Yeah. Well, think Sedona Wine Fest along those. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get the 40,000 square foot tent, but we have space, we have the wineries, we have the interest, we've got the manpower. We just need to proceed with caution as to how people are going to be receiving large events. I mean, that's been the biggest ding for the consortium, is our income is really based on doing events. I did get word today, literally from Camp Verde, that they want to go forward with the Pecan Festival in March. And are we ready to roll? And let's talk about it. So there are places that are getting ready to do wine events. I can tell you that the wineries and the consortium, everybody is raring to do them. We just want to make sure that they're done in a manner that doesn't spread pandemic and doesn't look bad, and the optics are there. We need the optics to look good. So if we have to wait another year to do this event, I mean, it's a new event. So I'd rather wait until we know people are coming and they're participating in big events and move forward there. And I think we can create a really amazing, maybe 1 or 2 day. We haven't thought about specifics, but it could be a really good thing for us. And we'll keep you posted.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Michelle, can we hear you now? Darn. Darn.
About call.
Sign language?
Can you call? Can you call from your phone? I don't know how that works, but
Michelle, in the calendar invite, there's a phone number there. Give that a try and we'll unmute that phone.
all right. And I wanted to ask another question for Ms. Propek. You lost a partner this year. Aside from all the other hits that we've had with COVID, you lost a partner in the Mayberry Ranch. And how has that impacted your business? And what do you see being, that was such a drive for, destination marketing.
Right.
Do you see something replacing that, or what are you planning moving forward?
Well, yeah, other than that breaking our hearts, it has not been good at all for us with our tour operators, because we have always packaged with Lori on the tour groups. They would ride the train, they would go and have dinner and enjoy the show. And we've just been symbiotic that way. It's always worked. And now, while our tour operators are still coming, they're still interested. It definitely is hurting us. And I have to be honest, I haven't gone out and tried to look to see what could be a replacement for it. I don't believe there is a replacement for the Blazing M Ranch. So it's definitely going to affect maybe not just myself, but it will affect also keeping them in our area that one more night that group would have stayed, because the Blazing M would be that evening event. They could get off the train and literally get back on their bus and go. And so we as an area do need to think about what could we do to give them an activity, whether it's a meal at one of the wineries, whether it's another venue, something that we can offer them and that I can present to them to get them to make sure they stay that one more night in our area.
And you mentioned that the referrals that you get from the hotels in Cottonwood have only dropped by 100 or so tickets this year. Is that correct?
That's right. 199 seats down from 2019 in total for 2019.
That's amazing.
And we were closed half of March, April, May, and June. We were closed 3.5 months.
And you're still at
So
50%.
these hotels are kicking butt.
You're still at 50% capacity, right? So you're not selling as many tickets.
Right. But we always make sure, even though I'm opening up 50% for sales, I'm still hiding part of those 50% for our partners, for the Tavern Inn, for Pines Motel, for the Best Western, for all of our hotel partners. We want to make sure that we don't have to say no to them.
Well, that's great. We have Mr. Jurison on a little bit later on in the day, so I'd be curious to see what he has to say about that too. So, very good. Michelle, can we hear you?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
Oh, this is fabulous. Okay. Wow. Sorry about that. All right. So, sorry for the technical issues. I'm usually a little bit more adept at this, but in any event, thank you all for the time. Thank you for inviting me today. And I'll try to make up some lost time here, but I really just wanted to say that I'm so happy that we do have such a strong regional partnership for, at least formally too, for the last 20 or so years. We've operated and ran and executed some really great programs through the Sedona Verde Valley Tourism Council, of which, Cottonwood, of course, is a major partner of. What's so wonderful about that coalition is just the fact that we can, you guys offer something that we don't, and vice versa, and Clarkdale offers something that neither of us do. And so we are just so grateful that we can really leverage all of our tourism product for a really wonderful, cohesive experience and get folks to stay here longer and play longer and spend more. So really, really proud of our regional efforts. Feel free, if you've never seen these sites, feel free to check them out. I'm sure Heather shared all this with you, but the Verde Valley NatGeo.com website is one that we're really proud of, and SedonaVerdeValley.org. For Sedona, of course, as you guys know, tourism is hugely important for our area, and of course for the entire region. I would just want to say that I kind of was thinking about the importance of marketing, and sometimes I feel like I understand it, but I maybe don't share it out. And so I thought I'd just share a little bit on kind of our position of tourism marketing and why it's so valuable. One of the things that we hear is, and you who knows, maybe you've said it too. I mean, I get this all the time. People are coming. Why do we need to market? And first, everyone knows the area. Why do we need to market? And one of the reasons that we need to is that not everyone does know our area. We have just 2 hours south of our region, one of the fastest growing areas in the nation for a few years now, the Phoenix metro area. So we have a lot of new residents moving down south on a regular basis, and they don't know about us. So we need to stay present. Secondly, even if they have heard of Sedona and Cottonwood in the Verde Valley, it doesn't mean they'll come. The competition for the tourist dollar is really competitive. And frankly, there are definitely cities spending more than we are. So it's important that, and they're trying to attract our visitors. So it's important that we stay present. Thirdly, and this is the thing I really love the most, almost, is the fact that we can control our perception, right? So when you brand and market the cities and the region, it helps us to really proactively control the perception out in front of the potential visitor, control the perception of our region and our cities. So good branding can really help neutralize some otherwise difficult things or challenges. So an example would be in Sedona, it's harder for a visitor to complain when they're sitting in traffic, just entering to town, when they know that they're sitting in the most beautiful place on earth, which is our brand position. So it can kind of help mitigate some of the negativity when you have a really strong brand foundation. Additionally, if we're not marketing the area and our cities, someone else will. So the folks down in the valley, they love to send people up our way, but they typically refer to us as a day trip. And I know this because I partner with many of the concierge down at the valley resorts, and I'm always telling them, like, hey, I know that your job is to keep people staying overnight, several nights at your property. So it's a challenge to tell them that, hey, we really have much more than a day trip visit, much more to do than, is allotted in an afternoon. And even our partners down in the valley, I mean, as far as our other destination marketing organizations down there and our peers, they just have it in their head that Sedona and the Verde Valley is a day trip. And that is our number one complaint at the visitor center. People say, I had no idea there was so much to do up here when they're here for the first time. So, it's really our job to really put the proper message and the proper marketing out there. Because again, if we don't, we'll just be dubbed a good day trip. And so it's really important for us to get ahead of the curve there. The other thing I wanted to kind of just share that's worked for us, and it's an ongoing process, and that is just to really help your residents come along and your basically everyone. I mean, everyone needs to get behind your brand and what you want to stand for as a city. It's really wonderful that, when we're at, not so much lately because we haven't had in-person events, but when we would hold our ribbon cuttings, Mayor Moriarty, our mayor, she used to love to say, Sedona, the most beautiful place on earth. She has a way of fitting that into almost everything that she does. She really owns the brand and helps. She's one of the greatest brand ambassadors, as well as our residents. If they have that pride in their city and they have that pride and that you see them repeating that same kind of sentiment on their social media, it's really helpful too. So the more we can get, as independent cities, as well as our region, the more we can get our residents behind what we're doing, there are free marketing essentially, and it really does instill a sense of community pride. One of the things, and I'll just wrap up with this because I know I'm probably rambling a little bit, but I get excited about marketing. And one of the things I wanted to share, though, and some of you may be aware of this, but our sustainable tourism plan is something that's really helping us to evolve as an organization. So much of what I've been talking about is the marketing end of things and the promotion and the sales, which is important. Tourism is a $1 billion industry in Sedona, so we know we need to do that, and we have many partners that rely on us to do that. But we also know that we need to balance it with economic preservation and programs that help mitigate.
Yep, now we can hear you.
Oh, okay. So some of our sustainable tourism plan efforts also address environment preservation and programs that help mitigate some of the negative impacts of tourism. And then also our resident quality of life. We have many programs that are created solely to assist them in sometimes the over-tourism world that we live in sometimes. So, and then the visitor experience. So basically we have four kind of pillars that fall under the sustainable tourism plan, and it really has helped us broaden our scope, take on more, but it's all holistically connected. And I think it's been very well received by our residents and our visitors as well. So I just wanted to end on that thought.
Great, thank you. All right, so more questions then from council? Quick question for Paula. There was a study that was conducted, I think, by NAU, economic impact of the wine industry. Do you have any other, do you remember what the economic impact was when the study was completed, and are there any other plans to do another study?
Well, the original study was done in 2011 and 12, and at that point we were seeing the average tourist coming on in to specifically visit the wineries and the wine tasting rooms. We're doing an overnighter and spending about $100 in each of the tasting rooms. We are now seeing that the Verde Valley, if you just had $1 for wine being spent in the entire state of Arizona throughout all of the regions, the Verde Valley is bringing in about 80 cents. So we know that the bulk of the tourism dollars that are spent for the entire state of Arizona are being spent in the Verde Valley. And I don't want to slam our other regions, but when you think about going to Wilcox, and it's really an agricultural area. Thank goodness it's there. A lot of our wineries up here in northern Arizona do source fruit from down there, but you're not getting the let's go watch grapes grow, which is what you could do in Wilcox. So what we have here is when we started the industry in northern Arizona, and we really did start an industry. Most of us that are in this region are here because we want to live here first. We didn't come here to create a wine industry. We were here. And with that being said, we are, what the outcome has been is that we already had Sedona and the Grand Canyon and the infrastructure and the hotels and the restaurants. So we added an extra kind of leg on the stool. So now we've given the people that are already coming a reason to stay longer, a reason to actually come here. What we hear a lot of is we didn't even know there was wine in Arizona. And that is starting to be defunct now nationally and internationally. I mean, I spent 4 years traveling around the United States getting Arizona wine into 40 states. And the impression at the beginning of this, and this is like 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, was Arizona. I mean, they just can't even fathom that it's a place. Well, now today was released a beautiful coffee table book, 500 pages about the Arizona wine region. So we're starting to see, along with, being granted our AVA, which is going to be the next thing people are going to go, oh, wow, if they didn't already know, well, they're going to know now. So at this point, the tourism dollars are here. We're getting the majority for the state. We're seeing more families coming up now and actually spending the time. It used to be the ladies would come and the husbands would we'll come up and drink wine, but we'll go hang out in the bar and drink beer. That seems to be changing. We're getting a lot more younger people coming up into the region to see. Over the last 10 years, we've seen the age shift from white-collar opus drinkers to younger, hipper, cooler people. I think that the addition of the breweries in the area has also kind of given a more of a fuller package to that, husband, wife, she doesn't want to go, he does, blah, blah, blah. So we are definitely the Old Town Cottonwood is the star of the wine industry tasting rooms. I mean, with that being said, you see a lot of now in urban areas down in Phoenix, which are draws. I mean, but those are things, people don't go to Old Town Scottsdale and stay in a hotel just to go to a tasting room. They go there for a lot of other reasons. And then bonus, there's a tasting room here. Whereas here, people are actually coming to do the wine situation. That's not going to change. That's just going to continue to grow. And we're going to do a redo on that industry study with NAU. U of A is working on one too. So we'll see some more numbers. It's really important. The AWGA, the Arizona Wine Growers Association, is also helping to fund another couple of studies. So we'll see more numbers that we can produce and show people that, we win. We know we do, but people like to see the numbers.
Yeah, and I'm curious too to see how, once we claim the mantle of the AVA, I'm curious how that's going to increase our numbers in the future from where they are now.
Can't not increase them because the respectability of having an AVA, I mean, there's only a couple hundred of them in the country. So it's not like everybody who has wine growing everywhere gets an AVA. It's a process. And once you've got it, you can now market the place as being a recognized American viticultural area. So if you have an opportunity to go look at the website and look at the map, I mean, most of the AVAs clearly are on the coasts, California, all the way up to, Oregon and Washington. That's where the most of them are, but they are starting to sprinkle around the country. Arizona received their first AVA in 1984 for Sedona. So this is going to be the third AVA. Wilcox got theirs in 2016, and we should see ours in 2021. And then that's it. There aren't going to be any more AVAs in Arizona because the grapes grow in specific places. And if you don't have a large body of water like an ocean or a lake or a river, you have to have altitude. So we're growing grapes at the higher elevations, which is why our grapes are amazing. But it's also a finite amount of area. So we're never going to, people, they like to compare us to Napa. Well, that is never going to be what we are. We have a smaller area that can actually grow the grapes. We're constrained by water and weather. So we do want to just realize that once we get that AVA, it's going to be the last one we see in Arizona. And we have an opportunity to really take that and launch it with all kinds of, but press releases and wine writers. Wine writers look for that, and critics. I'm working with Arizona Department of Tourism to put together a virtual wine tasting from writers from, New York and DC, sommeliers and people that would normally be here in person. So we're continuing the outreach into the wine world. And it's bigger than most people want to give it credit for. Not everybody drinks wine, but the people that do drink wine, they appreciate what Arizona is producing. And at this point, it can only continue to grow.
I had one final question for Michelle. the National Geographic tourism destination. I know that Sedona's marketed that really well. Do you see any opportunities here in Cottonwood for us to maybe leverage that a little bit better?
Oh, I think, and I'm going to actually, I could almost pass this back to Heather. She is helping us on the Sedona Verde Valley Tourism Council to do just that. We have asked Heather to help us kind of get that site more visible. So there definitely are ways that we can maximize it a little bit more. It had great interest when we first launched it a few years back. And what's so wonderful about that site is that it's all that content is written by our local businesses. So it really does have a really nice feel to it. It's written in their voice, and each business has the chance to basically create their own landing page. I mean, you can put as much content, written content, photos, videos, et cetera, on it. You can map your location. So it really is working well for the businesses, and we had a lot of great interest when we first launched it, and we have a lot of pages on it. We really do. So I think our businesses have taken advantage of it. Now it's just our opportunity to just kind of get that juice going again on it. And I know Heather's been working on that. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you.
We've got a little more work to do.
Yeah, please, Heather, did you want to add some more?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the challenges, Mayor, has been that the destinations, because it started and then it kind of lost its momentum. I think that's one of the keys, is that all those destinations that are part of the Sedona Verde Valley Tourism Council, they kind of lost steam with it. So now that we are revamping our website, it's more of an opportunity to showcase that. And we're doing outreach with the other destinations to make sure that there is a draw for that. And we can be promoting the fact that we have this designation and this really amazing tool that's right there in our fingertips to be able to use. So we will be focusing on that and highlighting it on the new website, absolutely, and making sure that everyone knows we're a part of it.
Great. That's good to hear. All right, Council, any other questions?
I have one question for Teresa. You had mentioned that you were partnering with Liz and M on the train ride and then a dinner show. Was that mostly families or adults?
Oh my gosh, it was mostly adults because they were, I can tell you that a lot of our train passengers, individuals, families, tour groups, went to the Blazing M after the train ride. It just worked perfectly in our marketing plan for both of us. But as far as our tour groups, it was adults. It was adults from everywhere across the United States and international groups.
Okay.
All right. Other questions? All right, well, listen, I really appreciate all you being here today. Each of you women has been a huge heavy hitter in the Valley, keeping tourism dollars flowing into our community. We really appreciate it. And Teresa, you especially, the owners of the train, you yourself, you're one of the many local employers that kept your employees on through all of this COVID crisis. And I just really want to extend, again, my appreciation to the Durbanos and you for finding creative ways to keep those families employed through all of this. And I hope you continue to hang on. And I know that with leadership like we see today, you will do everything you can to keep those dollars coming here to the Valley, and we are here to support you. So thank you.
Well, and I thank all of your hotels and restaurants and the wineries, because everybody comes in and says, oh, they told us to come ride the train from over here. So it's a relationship that we all have, and we're all benefiting from it.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to a more prosperous 2021. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. Big sigh, big sigh. All right, well, have a good afternoon. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.